welcome aboard. I'm Keisha, your flight attendant.
And I'm Mark. I'm your pilot.
And together we're your favorite aviation couple and host of Flight Decks and Jumpseats.
A podcast that doubles as your passport to the world of aviation and travel from the lens of a couple who share a passion for flying.
With over 10 years combined, we'll share stories, insights, and our passion for all things aviation. From chasing waterfalls in Costa Rica to petting tigers in Thailand. We'll take you on a vicarious voyage.
Don't trip. We still got you covered on travel tips, and we'll answer all your aviation-related questions.
So fasten your seatbelts as you immerse yourself in our world of aviation.
So, prepare for departure. We've been cleared for takeoff for a journey with flight decks and jumpseats.
You ready?
We ready.
All right. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Flight Decks and Jumpseats. We are here. I'm your girl, Keisha.
And I'm Mark.
And where are we going today? What's our briefing?
So today we are taking a journey on tail number November 001 Fox Juliet.
All right.
That's episode 1. And we are going to Miami for the Black Travel Summit.
Ooh, Black Travel Summit.
Hey,
So Black Travel Summit was amazing. So it has been on my vision board for the past year. I saw the very first inaugural flight, the first Black Travel Summit last year in Miami, and I was like, I have to be in this room. I don't care what I gotta do or what it takes. I put it on my vision board, and I said, okay, like, do I sound echoey to you, or is it just me?
No, I think it's fine.
It's
I mean,
fine?
there's not much else we could do.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we could cut that part out. But yeah, I had seen the very first Black Travel Summit last year, and I was like, I have to be in this room. It looked amazing, and I put it on my vision board, and it literally was up on the wall all year long, and
It's still there, right?
It's still up there, actually.
Looking right at it.
So yeah, it's up there. So I literally didn't know. I knew the dates, and I wrote it down. I wasn't really sure how I was going to do it. I had all these plans and kind of like set up a game plan for myself, and I kind of psyched myself out. Imposter syndrome, we're all guilty of it, but like I like to perfect things and have it done a certain way. So, anyways, fast forward, I applied to be an exhibitor at the Black Travel Summit for my brand Jet Executive, which is a platform for flight attendants and aviators to find balance, which is very important to me. However, back then I wasn't really sure of my direction in terms of where I wanted to go with it. I just knew that I was doing something and I was really good at organizing my life and planning things out, and I wanted to share that with other people. I just didn't have a very clear guide or direction as to how I was gonna do it, but I knew why. I knew my why.
Yeah, I think that does attain to what you said of how you tend to like. You said that you were a perfectionist?
A little bit.
A
I've
little
gotten
bit.
better. I've
Yeah,
gotten
so
better.
I think that
Yeah.
does play a role in kind of like,
Expediting.
and I'm pretty sure you're not the only person. There's other people. I mean, I go through it, maybe not as much as you, but I go through it too, where it's like you want it to be so perfect
Yeah.
that you don't even get past the first step.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? So yes, we applied. We were like, we're gonna do this. We prayed about it. Literally underneath or above the on my on my vision board, it says, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for." So I was walking by faith, and with faith, you don't see what's happening. You just have to believe it, and that's what I was walking by. So fast forward, I apply to be an exhibitor and have my own booth there, my table there to represent my brand, my platform. And I wasn't sure exactly the audience of who was going to be there. I just knew it was going to be a summit about people who travel, and that's kind of all that that I cared about. I wasn't sure if a lot of aviators were going to be there or if it was just going to be like travel influencers, but nonetheless, I felt very compelled to go. So I got approved, which was very shocking to me because I didn't really have much to show for my brand. I mean, between my personal page and my business page, I knew that I showed that I was a flight attendant. I knew that I showed that I had a vision in terms of helping people find balance in the aviation industry, but I didn't really personally think I had enough to be a brand exhibitor and have like my table because I didn't really have anything to sell. It was more so about building a community.
Well,
Um,
by that point, you had step one.
what?
You had the name. You had the logo.
I had
You
a
had the
name. I
step.
had the look. I did have some things in
You had
place. I
step
didn't just
one, so
apply
it
with
was. It
nothing.
was like,
Right.
at least you got past step one.
Right. Well,
Um,
yes. Thank you for giving me
yeah.
a little bit
So
of
give
credit.
yourself credit. You definitely
Thank
had stuff
you.
established.
Thank
I
you.
mean, unlike flight decks and jumpseats, it was that it started coming together
Yeah.
very more recently,
Yes.
and we went to Black Travel Summit. It was like,
Yeah.
we're gonna start this podcast,
Yeah. And that's
and
kind of where this episode's going into
yeah,
because I wasn't going to go because I wasn't sure about like what I was going to show, what other brands were going to be there. And I was comparing myself to other brands that were going to be next to my booth and a little nervous about being intimidated by that.
mm-hmm,
But, anyways, literally the pivotal moment for me was one, I spoke to my therapist about it, and two, I went to church and I had like this moment where it was very clear to me, and the message was God chose me. Doesn't matter what you've been through, don't doesn't matter what you're feeling. Do it because God chose you, and if you don't step into your purpose, somebody else will. However, also know that there's room for everyone. So even if there's another brand that comes out that looks like us or that does the same thing that we're doing, there's room for everyone, but God chose you in a unique way. So you have to be able to hold that mantle and be able to step into that. So that's kind of what projected me to go to this Black Travel Summit. Not sure how I was gonna pull it off. I literally had like maybe 2.5 weeks to pull this off.
yeah,
And somehow I
yeah,
pulled it off. I really don't know how I
yeah.
pulled it off in like less than
Well,
3 weeks.
I know
Eh,
how we pulled it off
How did we pull it off?
together.
Together, that's how we did that.
No, yeah, seriously,
No,
it
yeah.
was like, come together. You needed you wanted the postcards printed out. I got that going for you.
Mhm.
You had all the ideas. You just needed help with getting things, and that's usually how it works in this relationship. Like
We balance each
all the
other's out.
ideas are her.
I'm that girl,
Like even
okay?
the setup, it's like it's her. I'm just the one that installs it.
Literally,
So
I'm like, okay, we're gonna put the couch here. We're gonna get these curtains. We're gonna do this. Like, I had the whole idea. Like, even with
yeah,
these light bulbs, like
the
this is a whole
podcast. I'm
setup.
like, all right, babe, we're getting these mics. We're getting that. Blah blah. I'm here. Okay, cool. Hooking it up. Wires, cool. Everything's set up. We need this now. We did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why we did it. We came together. Wonder Twin powers activate, and we put our heads together, put our thoughts together. You were gonna fly, but then when I said, hey, I'm gonna come with you,
Yeah. I literally
it
missed
was
my flight, which
like,
I don't do, but here we
yeah,
are. I missed my flight, and we literally drove 5 hours to Miami.
yeah. I
Like,
mean, I was gonna drive by myself,
I
but
actually drove, like,
we
yeah.
wanted to
So
do a road trip.
we wanted to do a road trip. We haven't really done, like, we've been so busy lately with work and like flying a lot, which is a whole nother episode just talking about our lives and how
Yeah,
busy we can get. And sometimes we are like ships passing in the night, and it's real. It's real life. Like that. Sometimes that's our life, but other times we're like, you know what? We have time together. Let's go on a road trip. Let's go on a date night. Let's read something. Let's go for a walk. Like let's go for ice cream. So we do stuff like that randomly because we don't always have the luxury of spending time together on a daily basis. So fast forward, we go to Black Travel Summit. We People love us. They're pouring into us. They're supporting us, and we're like, whoa. Where did all this come from? Like we were like,
right. We were
you
like, we
know,
don't have any products to sell. We don't have any.
no.
Like, what are we gonna do?
What are
And
we
we was
gonna
like, all
do?
right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna post up about Jet Executive,
Mhm.
tell people about it. Even though we knew most people were there just regular travelers and not necessarily aviation professionals, but
But still, it was great
still
to meet
people,
them.
right? People in the travel industry.
Yeah.
If you're a frequent traveler, there are people who are not aviators
Who can still
but
benefit?
still travel a lot and can benefit from Jet Executive. So
Yes.
okay, let's handle that part. Now the second part was this podcast. How are we going to promote this podcast?
Yeah.
All right, let's bring the equipment. Let's bring our mics. Let's bring our board,
Yeah. Um,
cameras, and set it up and just
and just go
Interview
and interview. And we literally
whoever we could
had,
interview.
yeah, we literally hosted like so many interviews at this summit in a span of what, 5 hours during that exhibitor
Yeah, I
day.
think it was seven.
Seven
Seven
interviews,
interviews.
which we
Interviews.
cannot wait to share with you.
Yeah,
Which lead
6 or
me
7.
6 or 7, with some really amazing power players in the travel industry, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear all of it. So this is going to be like a series of Black Travel Summit interviewees and just
Yeah.
bringing awareness to these amazing people who are in this industry that like we will give you all that information. But the first person that we interviewed, which Mark actually had the pleasure of interviewing, is the CEO and founder of the Black Travel Summit, which is Anita Francois.
Yep.
She is this multifaceted, petite powerhouse woman that is the most chill. Like, talk about balanced. Homegirl
Yeah.
is cool, calm, and collected all the time,
Real chill.
like in real life, but is able to juggle so many things, wear so many hats. So,
Like she could be stressed out,
mhm,
but you will never know.
you would never know. Like, she really is like humble brags, she doesn't have to say much. She's in the room. She's the person that's a fly in the wall,
Yeah.
but maybe the quietest person in the room, but may have the most influence. Like the Black Travel Summit was our first time going, and it was its second year in terms of the summit itself.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you she blew it out the water, I'm like, this this is this is amazing. This is
It is, and I'm glad to see us doing things like this.
I agree.
You know,
Yeah.
like to see like just like yeah, we have this great idea. We have just like we have this podcast, but it's like we're not the only ones out there with great ideas, and to
Yeah.
see all of it still being able to to work together
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to be able to support each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll we'll definitely get into that more with the interviews that we've
We lined up.
that we have lined up for
Yes.
you guys. So
Yes. So
Without
without further
ado,
ado,
get out my head.
Ooh. Yes, we're gonna go into the interview that Mark had the pleasure of interviewing Miss Anita Francois.
Yes. And roll clip. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Welcome to our podcast, Flight Decks and Jumpseats. We're going to be talking about our life as an aviation couple, in conjunction with Jet Executive, how we find our own work-life balance and everything. And I'm pretty sure for you, I'm just going to give an introduction. This is Anita, the founder of Black Travel Summit.
Yeah.
Right? So we're here, Black Travel Summit 2023. Tell me what's going through your head right now. Like, how does it feel?
It feels good. There's a lot of people here enjoying, and we've had some amazing sessions. Our speakers have done an amazing job as well. And then of course you guys as well. It wouldn't be nothing without you. So it feels really good. It seems that everyone is connecting, and not just emotionally, but also professionally as well.
Mm-hmm. So I want to give as brief as you can what started you with Black Travel Summit.
Yeah, of course. So I born and raised in London, so an East African and Haitian parents. I was super, super interested in and just passionate about history, heritage, culture, particularly from the African diaspora. And that kind of got me on my journey with traveling. And when I traveled, I used to look for us, right? Obviously being in London, a lot of my destinations, at least the first ones when I could start traveling solo, were in Europe.
Okay.
So I noticed that, a couple of experiences weren't always positive, right? But it wasn't until here, and obviously this is over time of noticing these experiences as a Black person or person of color. But it wasn't until I moved here that I kind of stumbled upon the Black travel movement, because I have a degree in archaeology. I have a master's in archaeology, so I became a curator.
Really?
Curating our stories, right? But then when I stumbled upon the Black travel movement a few years ago, I think it was about 2016, 17, and I'm not that old, but I'm not a big social media person. Yeah, so so
That's all right. I can relate.
Yeah.
I can relate. So
yeah, I don't know.
kind of like kind of like, all right, I'm forced to use this now because I have this thing that I wanted to go. I want people to find out about, but it's like,
You have a product or service, like social media is for you, right?
right, exactly.
And of course, if you like, if social media is your thing, like that's absolutely beautiful
Right.
and wonderful because it takes a certain level of skill to be able to continue that. Content creation is hard.
It is.
It is hard.
It
Like,
is
people
very
think,
hard.
oh, these people are just out here, like, creating content, living their best life. It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I stumbled upon the Black travel movement, and in I dabbled a little bit here, a little bit there. Started a blog that didn't work out so great. I started a travel directory as well, which had some traction, but not what I really wanted to do because I wanted to be able to connect people in a more authentic way, and I just felt like in person was that thing. So in 2019, we decided to kind of make it full on. Started in early 2019. And then at the end of 2019, we incorporated and we just kind of went from there.
Okay. Where do you foresee Black Travel Summit going after this?
I mean, honestly, I'm pretty happy with where it is right now and what it's doing for people. I love intimate spaces where people can authentically connect. I see physically anyway, obviously outside of Miami because the whole point is traveling, right? So we want to be able to have satellite versions across the country, maybe even one day across the globe. Who knows?
London?
We'll see. Yeah, of course, London. Yeah, take it back to the hometown.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely making sure that this is as accessible as possible, and sometimes that means meeting people where they are.
That I get that. Okay. And one last question. So one thing that we like to say as our motto is finding your cruising gratitude, right? So what is something that you can say that you are grateful for in this moment?
In this exact moment.
Well, not the exact moment, but or even something that you do to find your place of peace and your place of gratitude. Like, what is something that comes to your mind when you think about that?
This brings me to a place of peace and fulfillment. It is stressful, very stressful. If you plan events, because nobody sees the hecticness that goes on behind the scenes, and that's how we want to keep it, right?
Right.
But it takes a lot to put on something like this, especially when there's back-to-back events programming, and it makes it all worthwhile when I have people coming up to me saying, wow, I'm so glad I attended. This has been a life-changing experience. I have made so many connections. I have learned things that I didn't know I needed to learn, right? That is what
And
makes
like a
it
simple
worthwhile.
thank you is just it goes a long way when you put in all that effort.
Exactly.
And somebody comes and says thank you so much, and it's like, wow, yeah.
That could feed me. If I didn't need money to survive in this world, I would be happy and just doing
thank yous.
BTS. Yeah, for thank yous. I just need thank yous to survive. That'd be great.
Oh my gosh! All right. Anything else you want to say for the people out there listening?
Just if you're building a brand, if you are trying to connect, like it doesn't have to be Black Travel Summit, right? Just make sure to find your community, find your tribe, right? Especially in the Black travel space, it's important that we find one another and connect because we need people around us who have gone through the journey that we're trying to make, right? And I think that's the best way to be able to elevate yourself, not only physically and financially and all of that jazz, but also emotionally as well. Because it's hard. Like being an entrepreneur is hard, but know that when you find a community, you have people who can
Who are
kinda
there to
guide
support you and to help you.
exactly,
Yeah.
to support you and uplift you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you once again for your time.
Thank you.
Black Travel Summit 2023. We are here. We're enjoying it. Thank you.
Thank you.
From us to you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
this opportunity. And if you guys aren't, make sure you go follow Black Travel Summit. If you're not a traveler, I don't care what you say, get your passport and go travel. Like,
Amen.
there's nothing better. All right. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Okay, wow. I absolutely love that interview that you did with Anita. That was so great.
You think I did good?
That was good. You had some
Really?
really good questions. I was kind of like
I'm
sitting in the
I'm not gonna front. I
background.
was a little bit nervous.
Well, you did a great job. I
Thank
mean,
you.
and I was
I've never
circling the
interviewed
room,
anybody before.
and you did a great job. Like you took over, and I'm like, all right, you
Well,
got it.
actually, I
Cool.
lied. I helped interview Dr. J, but I was just behind the camera. I wasn't talking to
Well,
him.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but go ahead.
But yes, I love that. I love how she said find your tribe, which I totally agree with because I felt like
Mm-hmm.
before going to the Black Travel Summit, I didn't really have a lot of people who understood my vision or understood where I was going with this. I kind of felt like I had this Instagram page and I kind of had told a few people, but because I didn't feel like I had enough like true heavy hitter pushers, and don't get me wrong, I still have some friends that were like, Keisha, you got this, girl, I'm here to support you, like, you know. But I do feel like I was a little nervous, and sometimes only you can see your vision, only you can fulfill or get the purpose out the way you want it to be portrayed. But being
But
at the Black
sorry, I didn't mean to
uh-huh
cut you off, but that also goes back to I think we were in church one time. I think you said it, where it's like you heard someone say that God will show you your vision,
mhm
right?
mhm
God will show you your vision, and only you can understand because He only showed it to you.
right, right,
You get what
yes,
I'm saying?
yes,
So
yes, yes,
you can't expect other people
to understand
understand
it.
or to see it
Yeah, yeah,
because He specifically showed that vision to you.
yeah, yeah.
So
So, anyways, here we are
here
in
we are.
2023, and I
Yeah.
officially like created Jet Executive last year in 2022, but the idea was formulated probably back in 2019, I want to
Yeah.
say, and I didn't really know how to get it out. It kind of all started unfolding in the past year, and then
Yeah.
with Black Travel Summit, seeing it on my vision board, that's still up there that we can look at, like right over there, is beautiful because I actually was able to fulfill that, and it feels so good to do that. So, with that interview with Anita, with her telling you about like finding your tribe and like what kind of was her cruising gratitude was having people say thank you and being able to serve others, and I think that's the whole point of
And
why
promoting travel.
promoting travel,
Like
especially for people of color,
it
which
it only makes sense. So it's just like,
yeah,
okay, that is your cruising gratitude because you're passionate about what you're doing, and your passion has grown and fostered into what it is now, and it will
yeah,
continue to grow
yeah,
because you've taken your passion, you spread it out, you've built a team, you've inspired other people
mhm,
with your passion.
yeah. And she was able to bring so many amazing people together in one room to be able to connect, from people who are in tech to people who are in
Real estate.
real estate or the medical industry,
Mm-hmm.
or people who are aviators like
Right.
us. It was just so beautiful.
Influencers, of
Yeah,
course.
influencers, and it was
Like we
really
met people there that
beautiful.
were lawyers.
Yeah, like lawyers and people
Uh,
who are writers and photographers, and
y-
I mean the list goes on and on. I'm giving Anita her flowers because she deserves it all, and she has worked tirelessly. Not only Anita but her entire team who we had the pleasure of meeting. Amazing, amazing people. Like it really takes a village, and I think that's what she means by finding your tribe. And I
yeah,
think for us being new to this industry in terms of a business standpoint, we are finding our tribe. We're finding people who resonate with us, who support us, and genuinely want us to win.
yeah.
And I
And,
cannot wait to
and
see
I
what
think that's
unfolds.
I think that's one of the hopes of Flight Decks and Jumpseats is to
Yeah.
help develop our tribe.
Yes. Yes. Because
Yeah.
even something as simple as jet executive, seeing that there's a need for aviators to find balance, to know that our lives can be hectic and there's not really a support group for us to find balance or what to do on our layovers or how to manage our time. And was telling Mark the other day that I had an epiphany that my entire life kind of led up to this moment.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Everything
where
that you've
everything
experienced and been through. Yeah.
Yes. So growing up in a single parent household with my mother, she had to do everything. And she was, I always admired how my mother always knew when the dentist appointments were needed to
When they to
happen,
happen
or
when
when the doctor appointment for my physical. And she just had it all organized. And I recall
right, and this is
very,
before smartphones.
this is before smartphones. This is like way before the like. Well, we had internet, but it was
Yeah, but it was
it
still like
wasn't like you didn't have a digital calendar. Like she wrote things down,
right. You
and
didn't have Siri to talk to and say
no, no, my mother had logbooks and checkbooks and just like writing it down.
planners
Planners. Sometimes she would even get a ruler and create lines in the pages in order
in
to
the
in like a
in like a
notebook.
notebook.
In a notebook, she
Mm-hmm.
would get rulers and she
Oh,
would
right, and probably like different
different
columns. Yeah,
columns
yeah,
for
yeah,
different
yeah.
categories from bills to each
Yep,
child. There
yep,
was
yep.
3 of us growing up in the household. So she had like pages and sections and or like she was very very organized, and I didn't realize that growing up seeing my mom do that also helped me develop a lot of organizational skills. And thank you, mom, for that. You probably didn't realize that it helped me, but I think it really did help me in my career as a flight attendant because it made me look at my schedule and say, okay, I have this much time before, during, and after my flight. I have this much time on my layover. I have this much time before my next trip when I go home. Okay, I need to get these things done. What's in priority order? I need to do dry cleaning, my laundry. I need to repack for my next trip. Where am I going? How's the weather going to be? And I'm thinking of all these different things in advance. And those skills that I didn't even know were skills
Mm-hmm.
were innate. They came naturally. I was always thinking ahead, and then I realized that, and I think I kind of realized it when Mark and I started dating was that he never thought like that. And I was like, "What do you mean you don't think about the weather? You don't check the weather when you're flying somewhere, or you're not thinking
Well,
about
now I do.
well, now you do because you're a pilot, yeah. But before, he didn't think about what the weather was gonna be like. Or, for example, we would fly and we would travel together, and he wouldn't bring a sweater. I'm like, my rule is to always have a sweater and a swimsuit. Like, number one rule, a
Yeah.
swimsuit was always in my bag because you never know when you might end up near a beach or a pool, and a sweater is always in my bag because you never know when you might end up in Tulsa instead of Tulum. Okay,
Or just when the plane is cold.
or when the plane is
When the
cold.
plane is
The plane is always cold, by the way. Like, yeah. So, situations like that. So I didn't realize that my whole life I had been leading up to having this platform that literally is still a work in progress because no one is perfect. No one can say they are the perfect flight attendant. But I do think that with the skills I've learned and have developed over the past almost 10 years of my career, that I can help other people who may struggle with finding work life balance or time management and, pouring into themselves because we're always serving our passengers. Let's start serving ourselves. So,
Facts.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
shout out to Anita for the Black Travel Summit. And
Thank
that
you,
was
Anita.
amazing. And also, she talked about cruising gratitude. Let's talk about ours.
It's my okay. What's our cruising gratitude for today? Um, my cruising gratitude for today is the ability that I've been afforded to wake up every day and have options.
Mm.
If I want to go out and be a pilot today, I can go out and be a pilot today. If I want to go out and drive around, I can go drive around. If I want to go run, I can run. Like, I'm grateful for the ability to have options, and I don't want to take that for granted.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good. For me, my cruising gratitude of today is growth. Knowing that there's room to grow, knowing that, just talking about how I had that pivotal moment where the word of the day at church was God chose me, and knowing that because I listened to that and have that resonating with me that God did choose me, that there's room to grow and he's not finished with me yet.
Nope.
So just the room to grow is beautiful, to know that you have the ability to grow whenever you wake up. You have the choice, like you said, the option to make a choice to say, you know what, today I'm going to do something that's going to help me grow, whether it's reading a book, whether it's looking up an article online or watching a YouTube video or listening to a podcast like ours.
Yeah.
You always have room to grow. So yeah, that's my cruising gratitude, and this is part one of many
Part one of many.
many stops that we made at Black Travel Summit with amazing
This is the
people.
first leg.
This is the first leg. Hey, yes, we have multiple legs until we reach our final destination. So, thank you again. And I'm your host, Keisha.
And I'm Mark,
And
the co-host.
the co-host.
Co-pilot.
Let's just end it with thank you for listening to the
All
Flight
right.
Decks and Jumpseats. We'll
Yes.
catch you again next time.
Peace.
Bye.